A ceasefire in Gaza may be holding, but Israel is escalating its attacks in the other Palestinian territory, the West Bank. Israel says its operation there is to prevent Iran getting a foothold there. In the past 6 weeks, more than 70 Palestinians are reported to have been killed in the West Bank. According to Save the Children, that includes at least 12 children. The Israeli military has disputed the figures. An estimated 30,000 people have been forced from their homes. Palestinian children, just as they were in Gaza, being killed in record numbers and in, understandably, distressing scenes.
You might think the sight of Palestinian homes being reduced to rubble has become chillingly familiar. But these apartment blocks aren't in Gaza. This is the occupied West Bank, and thousands of its families are on the move too. Since the ceasefire in Gaza 3 weeks ago, Israel has ramped up its military operations here. And while Hamas is the target, it's Palestinian children whose lives fall apart first. This is 10-year-old Saddam fighting for his life in hospital. When his parents separated, he became the sole carer for his disabled father, who stands at his bedside.
Since the trouble began in Tulkarm, Saddam never showed fear. He stayed by my side, helping me constantly.
But 2 weeks ago, what little childhood Saddam had was shattered by an Israeli soldier's gunshot. His screams too distressing to broadcast, his father powerless to help the little boy who'd always helped him. Saddam had only stepped outside to FaceTime his mother. Restrictions on movement meant the next time she saw him was here, at his funeral. Saddam died of his injuries on Saturday. His father hasn't stopped watching what happened. In an incident the Israeli army has told ITV News it's investigating, but which he finds inexplicable.
In our area, there were no clashes, no confrontations with armed resistance, no civilians throwing stones, nothing. Israel is doing here what they have been doing in Gaza. They spare no one.
This is the youngest of the children killed in the West Bank since the ceasefire began. 2-year-old Layla was shot by Israeli forces when they fired into the window of her family home during an exchange with armed Palestinians. Despite warnings, military escalation here is another factor jeopardising the ceasefire. The Israeli government insists it has no choice. As of yesterday, it's also officially replaced the term West Bank with its biblical name.
Israel is crystal clear. There will be no safe havens for terrorists in Judea and Samaria. Of course, it goes without saying that every civilian casualty is a tragedy.
In the case of the 10-year-old boy who died over the weekend, we have been told by relatives ambulances were held up as they tried to get to hospital. What's the justification for that?
How dare you try to shame me with this Hamas propaganda? Hundreds of wanted terrorists have been arrested. The infrastructure which has been used for terrorism has been attacked from both air and ground. Now, Hamas and other terrorist organisations, including Palestinian Islamic Jihad, they use their people as a human shield.
But Saddam was just calling his mum. Children's lives here as fragile as the ceasefire that fails to protect them. Rachel Younger, News at 10.